Hello, good evening. It's time to do business. I am Beverly Broohm. Now, Ghana is yet to make progress with the G20 Common Framework debt treatment with its bilateral creditors. That's according to the World Bank April 2023 Africa Pulse report. This contrary to what some government sources have said, that it has reached an agreement with its bilateral creditors, particularly the Paris Club, to pave the way for an International Monetary Fund program. The following report has more.
Ghana requested a common framework debt treatment in early 2023. In conjunction with the common framework engagement, the country conducted a voluntary domestic debt exchange program. It then followed up with an external debt exchange. But the World Bank said so far, only the restructuring in Chad has been completed. The World Bank further said the high liquidity and solvency may push more sub-Saharan African countries into an unsustainable situation that requires a comprehensive restructuring of their obligations. It therefore urged African countries, including Ghana, to increasingly rely on their own policy reforms and domestic space for action in 3 areas. These are restoring macroeconomic stability, raising interest rates, and avoiding policy conflicts, thus reduce the effectiveness of monetary transmission.
Finance lecturer at the University of Cape Coast, Seyram Kawo, has hinted that Ghana may find it difficult raising capital from the international market due to lack of transparency on progress with its bilateral creditors on debt treatment. He spoke earlier on Business Live.
Government has made it a key issue that when it comes to some of these things, they should hold the issues to themselves. They should hold it to their chest. And so you realize that one of the key issues before they reach the board level agreement for the approval of the loan is the passage of the domestic revenue bills. And that was quite recently passed by Parliament. And if this were communicated to Ghanaians, and it was communicated to the minority in Parliament, this would have been done long time when they were approving the budget, and then we wouldn't have problems. And if you want to take the citizens by surprise and spring surprise on them, these are some of the delays that we are going to face. And Ghana as a country is going to pay dearly for some of these things. Credibility is very key. And so when the president came out to say that, yes, we will reach the IMF board level agreement and the loan will be in by end of March, we said that his credibility is on the line. And for that matter, if the president comes out to tell us anything as Ghanaians again, we might not be very pleased with him, because whatever he said is not been true. In the investment market, information plays a key role. So investors will now be very skeptical in investing in our country. They are going to look at it from the viewpoint that we need information to invest, and the information, the source of the information has not been credible. And for that matter, it becomes very difficult for them to invest in their country. And looking at the very situation that we are talking about, debt restructuring, where haircuts and the rest will come in. And so if you borrow money from the people and you are not coming out with credible information, it becomes very worrying. And our managers of the economy should look at that. Otherwise, in the future, for us to go to the international financial market to raise bonds, it's going to be very difficult for us to raise.
Away from that, the listing of a 50 million cedi bond raised by Bayport Savings and Loans onto the Ghana Stock Exchange is a signal that confidence is coming back into the market. That is the assertion from the managing director of the exchange, Abena Amwa. Now, according to her, confidence has been on the low due to the recently ended domestic debt exchange program. We have more in the following report.
Our strength came from consistently engaging with investors to understand what their needs were. And you need to understand that their needs were evolving because of the market conditions. So we needed to find a structure of the bond that made sense, the price point that made sense, and then also touching base with our issuer, that's our client, Bayport, to also understand their risk versus return construct. Once we understood those two, we had to then push to make the transaction happen. But I would say that for us as ABSA, we are proud to be associated with the transaction because it has marked the reopening of the bond market after nil activity for about 12 months. And I think it's an encouragement not only to the clients, but to the broader market that we can't do deals in these environments. Transactions can still come to market. And so it's more of a challenge we are putting out there to issuers. Once you have your corporate governance in a good place, you are very clear in your mind in terms of what you need the funding for. Advisors like ABSA can help you come to market.
But apart from Bayport, I mean, generally, how is it going for you guys? Because looking at how the market has been, yes, you were able to be successful with Bayport, but how is it?
Our projection is, if you look at the market at the moment, we have a government that just went through a domestic debt exchange. So we all admit that investor confidence is very low. So it's not just a question of what is ABSA doing, but what are we doing with the others? It's a time that we all need to come in and pull together, regulators, advisors, investors, and issuers, because Ghana is our home. The offshore investors can cash out and leave, but what about us? What about our children? What about tomorrow? So for us as ABSA, it's not just transactions. We think about the environment we work in. So ESG is very key to us. And so to your question, what are we doing? We are collaborating with the likes of Stanbic and the others, as you have seen. We are speaking to investors, we are talking to issuers, and we are trying to answer the question, how do we bring value back into this country? It's our hope that all this work would translate into bringing all of us back to this stage to ring the bell for another bond transaction.
Now hear from the head of research at Databank, Alex Boahin, who has described the listing of a 50 million cedi bond raised by Bayport Savings and Loans onto the Ghana Stock Exchange as a welcome news.
I think it's a welcome news. I mean, it tells you that gradually the terrain is very rough at this moment, but gradually we are making some progress. We are seeing some level of confidence in the market, and this hopefully is going to pave the way for similar transactions to come into the market and raise the much money or the much needed capital that they need to finance their businesses. So I think it's a good news for the market to the extent that, you know, they actually receive more based on, you know, what they initially intended to raise. So that is a very welcome news, and we welcome that, and I believe that it's not going to end there. We may see a few more successful corporate issuances on the market, and gradually I believe that the market will get to the level that we expect it to be. At best, one can say that the performance has been mixed so far this year, even though if you look at the broad market index, which is the GSC Composite Index, it has returned about 12.3%, which looks great. But of course, if you look at it closely, you see that there are some underlying weaknesses in the market, especially coming from the banking sector. Following the debt exchange, sentiment around the financial sector in general has been very weak, and that is weighing heavily on the stock market. So, yes, the market has done more than 12% this year, but the financial sector continues to remain an overhang, or it remains an overhang on the market.
Now, the Bank of Ghana has announced that charges that are not disclosed to a borrower in a loan agreement should be considered null and void. Describing borrowers who may suffer such ordeal as victims, the BOG also directed commercial banks and lenders to refund such monies to the borrowers. According to the central bank, it is embarking on the campaign to promote transparency in loan disbursements, as well as empower borrowers to shop around for better rates and loan conditions. We hit the streets for some reactions. Take a listen.
Bank of Ghana is on course because I am a victim of that situation, and sometimes some of the bankers and financial institutions will tell you that the loan is granted on commitment, no commitment fee. But you realize that your loan deductions become so huge that you divide it by the total duration and realize that you are not making, you can't tell exactly where the remaining monies are coming from. So if Bank of Ghana has brought out the challenge that has given a directive that they should pay the money to the customers, I think it's on course. They need to be sanctioned. That is free, because if loans that we take is a contract. It's a contract. So if we are entering into contract, you have to make every information available to me to decide whether I want to do that. So if you hide some information away from me, that is a breach of contract, and so you have to pay for that. And so I don't think there is anything wrong if Bank of Ghana decide to sanction those institutions, aside asking them to refund the monies to the customers.
If only they are not aware of it, and it has affected the customers, and the authoritative body, Bank of Ghana, has examined it and gone through it and found that it is very needful for customers of the various institutions or banks to have their money back, then I support it. You understand it? Because they are the authoritative body and they have brought this nice suggestion. So let the money be refunded so that customers will be happy and take care of their family, so that Ghana will do well. Rules and sanctions will also help, so that next time they will not do that. There should be communication first to the clients. Sometimes they even send text messages, they can send emails, or they can even make announcements in the media for their various customers. Communication is very, very good. You understand me? Yes, it's democracy. So I support any sanction, so that next time it won't be repeated.
The banks, most banks that do that, to the people that take the loans from them, yes, I think they should be punished, because most people, they are not aware of the kind of money they are supposed to pay, and then at the end of the day or the time, they just lost everything, you see, and they end up paying a lot of money.
As for me, I think they should be made aware of the charges, and then secondly, like what Bank of Ghana is saying, for me, it is the truth. Yes, it is the truth. I think when they refund the money to them, it will be of help for them, so that going forward, when the Bank of Ghana brings such of this, or let's say rules and regulations governing all these things, next time they will be very careful whenever they are dealing with us, with customers. They will tell them the rules and regulations governing it before they will give a loan to any of the customers that they have.
Meanwhile, banking consultant Christian Techijan has lauded the Bank of Ghana's campaign to promote transparency in loan disbursement. According to Mr. Techijan, this is an important way to ensure sanity in the financial industry.
The financial space is made up of a number of players. The universal banks are there. We've got the credit unions, we've got the savings and loans, the microfinance, and what have you. So for the universal banks, I know they've really adopted it as a template. I cannot, however, speak confidently on the other sectors. But I think it's a happening that is ongoing within the market. And if you look at what the positions on the law is, so far as you do not go by them, definitely they are infractions as far as the law is concerned. So I think it's a very good call for the institutions who are not disclosing some of these terms and conditions to them. So as part of the dictates, we are supposed to provide the truth in lending, which sometimes will stipulate the interest rate that is being charged, the amount that is being availed, the purpose of the facility, if there are commissions, if there are charges, even with the interest rate, whether they are fixed or they are variable, everything needs to be stipulated. If it's a straight line or it's compound, it also needs to be stipulated, so that the right of the borrower will actually be protected by that particular act. So I think it's a very good call. But the challenge I see here, it's not really the banks, whether they disclose or they do not disclose. I'm aware a lot of them do disclose, but a lot of us consumers sometimes, in a haste to just avail the facility or take the loan, we do not really go in details to verify or to study into detail the documents that we are giving. So you can have a customer that comes in, the facility agreement is prepared, the offer letter is prepared, the truth in lending facility document is also prepared. But you just see them signing off without actually going through. So the challenge I see here for me is not really about the banks not disclosing. They do disclose, but it's about consumers not really studying the documents to know the dictates or the terms and conditions that are stipulated in some of these documents. That is where I believe there is a very strong challenge.
To some other stories now, an IT retailing company, Compute Ghana, says it is poised to strategically position itself to support Ghana's digitalization agenda. According to Airport Residential Branch Manager for the company, Hassan Gazelle, the company will continue to provide quality products. This, he believes, will ensure sustainability. He spoke to Joy Business at its launch of a new showroom at the Airport Residential area.
Compute Ghana has been operating in Ghana since 2006 with a vision to be the most trusted partner in information technology products, services and solutions across the African sub-region. Speaking to Joy Business, Hassan Gazal said the company will continue to provide high-quality IT products and services to Ghanaians at affordable prices.
The latest one we did last week. We opened this week, early this week. Compute Ghana, everybody's supposed to come and see, since it's the best showroom ever in terms of premium design inside. You can check the display inside the showroom, from IT appliances to everything. We have a lot of new things we started now. Is about security things. You can later take a snapshot about it and you can see it.
The company also provides repair and maintenance services for IT products, as well as installation and networking services for businesses. Additionally, Compute Ghana offers training and support services for individuals and businesses who want to improve their IT skills and knowledge.
Now, Upper West Region's area manager of VRA Nedco, Engineer Francis Yameso, has disclosed that customers owe the company a staggering amount of 107 million Ghana cedi. 82 million of the amount is owed by ministries, departments, assemblies and agencies, while domestic consumers owe 25 million Ghana cedi. He made the disclosure at the opening of a customer service clinic in Wa.
As part of the Public Utility Regulatory Commission's mandate to receive, investigate and settle complaints relating to utility services, the Customer Service Clinic is being instituted by the service aimed at creating a platform where consumers of utilities will have opportunity to present their complaints to both the PURC and the utilities with the expected assurance of their complaints being resolved. Among the activities carried out through utility companies in the Upper West region, VRA Nedco and the Ghana Water Company Limited were given opportunity to make presentations on their operations and complaint management process at the various districts. Abubakar Jabaru is Director, Regional Operations and Consumer Services of the PURC in the Upper West region.
We want to let the utilities also explain to them within Upper West what are our challenges. What do we expect from you? What do you also expect from us when it comes to the questioning time? So here it is their day, not our day.
Upper West Region's area manager of VRA Nedco, Engineer Francis Yameso, gave an overview of their operations in the region.
The maximum demand for Upper West region in terms of power consumption is 36 megawatts. Our customer population is around 137,000, of which 53% are metered on prepaid, whilst 47% are on the postpaid. Engineer
Yameso revealed that the major challenge faced is the staggering amount of money owed the company in the region, pegged around 107 million Ghana cedis.
For Upper West region alone, including ministry, department and agency, 107 million Ghana cedis. All right. And when you take off without MDEs, that means without the government agencies, okay, they owe us 25 million Ghana cedis. So that tells you that ministry, departments and agency owes VRA, Netco, Upper West area alone, 82 million Ghana cedis.
The VRA Netco says they have already embarked on an exercise to get defaulting customers to settle their debt and warn that defaulting MDAs will soon be disconnected if they fail to settle their indebtedness.
We are engaging, trying to see how they can do the needful. Currently, you've seen UCG go and disconnect some of them, and we are also going to do that very soon. We are going to do that. We are embarking on mass disconnection, and the agencies won't be spared.
The Ghana Water Company Limited, on their part, also spoke about the services rendered to the over 68,000 residents of Wa and its environs, but with less than 9,000 customers. Kwesi Abrebrese is the chief manager of Upper West Ghana Water Company Limited. Customers of the Ghana Water Company Limited in the Upper West region owed between 2 to 3 million Ghana cedis and have already started processes with their customers to enable them settle their indebtedness.
Since late last year, we've embarked on a program. Currently, what we do is that we are serving all disconnected customers who failed to respond to our demands at the end of 2022. We are serving them with demand notices for the amount they are owing. We give them 14 days to respond. Beyond the 14 days, those who fail to respond, we put their names together and we process them for the court.
Some customers at the forum praise the PURC for the initiative, which has given them opportunity to know about their operations.
So sometimes you find a whole community up in arms against Netco because, according to them, they are being cheated or they are being overbilled. But with what the engagement we have here, I think that all of us will go home at least with an idea of what goes into billing and what goes into pricing.
We are shown how we can approach them either through electronic ways or we go through the normal process by going to the office to seek address of our concerns.
And that's all for business tonight. Thank you so much for your time here. For more business news, you can log on to myjoyonline.com/business. I am Beverly Broohm. Sports is next with Razak Musbah. Please stay.